Now, government has joined SAFA in endorsing the businessman Patrice Motsepe's bid to run for CAF's presidency. Briefing the media earlier, the Sports Minister Nathi Mthethwa explained why Motsepe will be the right person to lead the continent's football governing body.
We want to see going forward football, more and more getting stable, characterized through integrity, and be in the news for all the right reasons. And we believe that in Dr. Motsepe we have that, and it's not just football in the field, but also it talks to people relations, our diplomatic relations with other countries, and very firm on our commitment as South Africa to see a better Africa and a better world. And we think that the strengthening of those relations and having a better Africa would need a person who has affinity to the mother continent, and he has that. Somebody will have passion. We have seen Motsepe coming out very clear in terms of his sense of duty to his country, to his people, to the football fraternity in this very country, and a sense of patriotism. We need that because I think with football we need more conversation about how to strengthen football on the continent.
Now, to help us unpack what this means, I'm joined in studio by our sports reporter, Philasande, Sixaba. Phila, quite an exciting day for not only Patrice Motsepe, but I guess South Africa as well. There he has the full backing of government. But perhaps, yes, he's known and admired as a sports figure and a leader in his own right. But what does it take to be CAF president? What are the qualities needed for that?
Well, Tommy, it's quite an important role. You're running African continental football. So I think you really have to be a person that's going to be dependable. We've seen in the past, the two past CAF presidents in Issa Hayatou, and how his tenure and how his credibility sort of sunk. And now with Ahmad, where there's a lot of controversy around him as a person, and of course some of his dealings. So it's going to be very important for him. And I know Dr. Patrice Motsepe has been somebody that has been held in very high regard. He wouldn't have been given the backing by the minister and of course the South African Football Association if he wasn't really held in that high regard. So I think somebody who is in good standing, not only with his country, but also on the continent as well.
And he's received nods from the likes of Nigeria, Sierra Leone. What does that mean? Are they not going to be putting up any possible candidates?
No, that's very significant in terms of the support that some of the continent's countries have given Patrice Motsepe to be able to sort of being endorsed as the next CAF president. It's a big feather in his cap in terms of how the other African countries are looking and how they see him and how they value him to be able to lead continent's football. Those are big endorsements. I mean, I was listening into that press conference. One of the endorsees was speaking about how he not only focuses on football, but he's a philanthropist. He sees beyond the 90 minutes of a football game, and I think that's going to put him in really good stead to be the next CAF president.
Does that then point to the importance of development within African football, and that is perhaps a virtue that Patrice Motsepe would embody quite well, being a philanthropist?
Massive. I think development, particularly on our continent, plays a big role, Tammy, and I think if you look at the state of African football, historically, we've never, we're definitely the biggest continent in terms of representation at FIFA level, but we haven't really gone on and done well in global football, in FIFA accredited competitions like the World Cup. So that's going to be an important role for Patrice Motsepe if he gets into the office of CAF president, is to be able to develop African football so that we can produce countries that can realistically win a World Cup.
You mentioned a very big and important word there, if he gets into the presidency of CAF. But what now? Where to from here? What are the nuts and bolts of the run for the presidency? So
the applications or the nomination process closes on the 12th of November. And then, of course, the general elections are next year, March. So, you know, he's still going to have stiff competition in the incumbent CAF president in Ahmad. So that's going to be very important to try and garner as much support so that he can succeed Ahmad as the next president of
And
CAF.
Apart from Ahmad, any other potential candidates that you think perhaps he ought to be looking out for?
There is one, I'm just forgetting their name now. There are 3 candidates for, as we know so far, for that CAF presidency next year in the general election. So, you know, Patrice Motsepe is going to have his work cut out in terms of garnering support, but I think it's a good start for him to be endorsed by the South African government and, of course, SAFA and other regions in the continent as well.
Well, thank you so much for that update, Pilar, and I guess a huge congratulations as well for Patrice Motsepe, a potential additional feather in his already very much decorated hat.